Too often, I think, laws are passed and then they don't quite work as was originally thought they would or originally hoped they would. And so the idea of post-legislative scrutiny has come into being, which means that parliamentary committees look at legislation that went on the statute book sometime before. And at present, there is a general rule that any laws which were published 3 years ago should be at least subject to potential examination. This extradition legislation, which is dated 2003, is obviously older than that, but it throws up a number of very important both legal and political issues, which we think it's a good idea to look into. Well, extradition is a contentious topic. It's politically contentious. I mean, you've got to look at the newspapers and watch television to know that. At the same time, it has a big impact on the particular people concerned. And so there are a large number of aspects of what is in fact a very difficult topic, which it seems appropriate for Parliament to look into and to report those findings to government. What we've done is tried to first acquaint ourselves with the facts as they now are. And we've, for example, talked with Sir Scott Baker, who together with two colleagues looked into the workings of the extradition legislation, as it then was 2 or 3 years ago, for the government. On top of that, we have talked to the Home Office Minister in charge of this, and we have discussed the matter with some NGOs and with lawyers from America. We're anxious to hear from people who have first-hand expertise and understanding of extradition and how it affects people. Therefore, obviously, we're thinking about practitioners, pressure groups who are concerned about this, people who may have been affected personally one way or another by the workings of the extradition system. And what we hope to be able to do is to form some conclusions, synthesizing the views that are given to us. The first stage in the process is to seek written evidence from people who feel they have something worthwhile to tell us. We shall obviously read and think about all that, and then once we've done that, it may be that there are some witnesses who we would like to talk to face about what they've told us, and then once we've done all that, we shall aim to think about it and synthesize a report from the committee as a whole, which comprises members from a number of different parts of the political spectrum. Well, perhaps the easiest way is, if you want to submit some written evidence, is to do so through the form that is on the website. In addition to that, which may be helpful, people can see our oral evidence sessions, which are obviously also online, and that will give an idea of what we're doing and the way we're approaching the topic. And finally, it's always possible to keep in contact with what's going on in the committee via Twitter using #HLExtradition.